Oda did a special Q&A where he was supposed to answer 10 important questions about One Piece, and I want to reiterate the term supposed to, because I'm not gonna lie, I did read the question before I started the video, so I have a little bit of context. Some of these questions are asked like plain and simple. I don't know who was in charge of asking some of these questions, but they need to be fired immediately. And so I want to talk about the questions, give my thoughts, because some of them, I'd say there's 10 of them. I'd say about 5 or 6 of them had some actual substance, so I want to talk about them. And then later in the video, I'll probably talk about or address some stuff in the SBS. I don't want to do all of it because sometimes Oda just be trolling in them, and I want to provide you guys with like the information, and I didn't plan on making an SBS video, but now hey, I have an excuse to do so. So the first question says, when Luffy is using Gear 5th, he pulls out things like goggles and baseball helmet from what looks like a Hagoromo feathered raiment. Please tell us how it works. And Oda says this is the entrance to Nika's fantasy. So at least to me, this clarifies that Luffy has Toon Force, that Luffy has the ability to do anything in everything that he wants, especially if it's Nika's fantasy and he's limited only to his own imagination. So if Luffy, who's creative as all get out, and his imagination just runs wild, that means that eventually, like as the series goes on, like Luffy's just gonna do like all types of crazy stuff in Gear 5th, and like I can't even fathom what it's going to be. And then people can't say like, oh, this is an asshole or anything, because well, Luffy just has a broken ability. Question number 2. Sabo inherited the Mera no Mi. He's demonstrating its power to the fullest. Did he do some training to properly use the Mera no Mi? And the answer is he is training every day. I think that Sabo, who regained his memory, remember a lot of things. I said that there was going to be some ass questions, and this is one of them. It's pretty self-explanatory. Unlike Luffy, Sabo is an intellectual, and Sabo be trolling too sometimes, but like in terms of like actually doing stuff, we've seen Sabo like train like in his flashbacks. So like, why wouldn't he train to use his Devil Fruit? I don't get this question. The statement where he says he remember a lot of things, it does intrigue me a little bit. Does that mean that whoever inherits the Devil Fruit inherits the memories of the previous user, and kind of like a Titan shifter from Attack on Titan? That's something that intrigued me, but the rest of it was kind of self-explanatory. I thought that this was a waste of a question. Question number 3. Has Dragon ever lived together with Luffy? Oda says no, at least not in what Luffy remembers. He is different with Kuma because he is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and if their parentage relationship is revealed, it'll endanger Luffy's life. I wonder what kind of feeling he felt when he is forced to leave his family, and what he thought when he saw his son at Logtown. This was kind of implied in the Kuma flashback, where Dragon was like, hey, like, parents, they have their own thing. I don't remember the statement, but they did address like Luffy and Dragon's relationship a little bit. Not surprising that Dragon didn't live with Luffy, as he has his priorities. I don't necessarily want to call him a deadbeat, but like, he's the leader of the Revolutionary Army, can't really do that type of stuff. I would love to see their relationship, or like what's going to happen when Luffy like officially meets them and they actually have like a discussion. Chances are, knowing Luffy's personality, he ain't gonna give a fuck, but still, as readers, like we want to see that, and also potentially like talk about Luffy's mom. I think Oda mentioned that she's already been introduced in the story, but we don't know who she is, so I want to know who Luffy's mother is. Question number 4. The ship of the Blackbeard pirates is named Saber of Xebec. Does it have any relation to Rocks D. Xebec? The answer is Xebec is the name of a sailing ship, so it could be a coincidence or maybe not. One of those questions, once again, I kind of thought it was a little bit ass because Oda just answered the question without answering the question. I'm pretty sure this was also referenced in the Road to Laughdale. Question 5. The Commissary Divine Departure attack that took out Kid in one hit, was that move taught by Roger, or did Shanks learn it by imitating him? And the answer is he remembered it because he always looks up to Roger. It's not just something that anyone from the Roger Pirates can imitate, so Shanks' talent is quite astonishing. This one's kind of an okay, but not really question. It's one of the weaker ones, because we know, like, you can infer based off of Shanks being a Yonko and what he's done in the story, like, you know, just how much hockey and everything that he can do. You could infer that Shanks is talented and like can pick up on things really quickly. And so, like I said, it's cool that he mentioned that Shanks looked up to Roger, and that's why he's, you know, him having that talent and him looking up to Roger's why he's able to use the attack. But like I said, that's more of a self-explanatory type of question. I really like this one. This is question number 6. Please tell us how the bounty system of Crosscale works. The answer: the Fleet Admiral has 5 crowns, an Admiral 3 crowns, Vice Admiral 5 stars, Rear Admiral 3 stars, Captain and Commodore 1 star, Field Officers Commodore rank and below 1 million berries, Company Officers below 100,000 berries, and a 1 crown equals 10 stars, 1 star equals 100 million berries, and the Famous Marine is a special case. So I'm assuming the Famous Marine special case, I think that's Garp, since technically he's a Vice Admiral, but like he's also a Special Marine, and he had 3 crowns similar to like what Kizaru and, you know, the other admirals would have. The Fleet Admiral having 5 crowns, that's interesting. That means that he's on the level of like Roger and Whitebeard being in the 5 millions, or 5 billions. That means he's higher than Shanks's bounty. Not saying that Akainu is stronger than Shanks, but that's something to know. We did get like, or a little bit about this, you know, seeing Garp and Kobe's bounties be revealed, but I like that you know, Oda went a little bit more in depth about this, because like I said, we could infer that, you know, that was the bounties for, you know, the admirals, but seeing the Fleet Admiral, all the rest of the ranks, that's pretty cool. Question 7. As the 10th ship captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, what kind of work does Kuzan actually do? Does he have any subordinates? The answer is he has subordinates. He's not the type to obey everything Blackbeard says. For Kuzan, being part of a pirate crew doesn't necessarily mean he has to do evil things. Rather, it implies living freely. However, as a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, it seems he has also caused many casualties. Like I said, this is an okay question. It was kind of answered in the Blackbeard Kuzan flashback when Blackbeard talked about, hey, like, you know, pirates, they have their own agenda. We, you know, we live free. So, you know, kind of doesn't really, like, I guess, have much substance. The fact that Kuzan, like, he doesn't do or agree everything what Blackbeard says, but he also like committed different casualties, that's a little bit shocking, I guess. But like, Kuzan wasn't even a saint when he was on the Marines, but like, he also wasn't a bad guy. We saw like him spare Rob and him spare Saul, so like, you know, him having them casualties, that's kind of interesting. Question number 8. What kind of system is the World Military Draft that added Fujitora and Ryokugyu to the Marines forces? The answer is countries affiliated with the world government have their own soldiers for protection. Through the World Military Draft, the Marines strengthened their military by drafting the most capable soldiers from these ranks. This draft also became a trigger for the recent 8-Nation Revolution, as the weakening of national defense forces may have contributed to the revolution's success. If you guys don't know what that revolution is, it is the one that involves Sabo, like the countries, you know, that went away from the world government, and, you know, the whole scene with the Flame Emperor, stuff like that. Really interesting seeing this, especially because we also got a little bit about Ryokugyu and Fujitora's backstory in the SBS. This is probably my favorite question. Question number 9. Please tell us about the Rocky Port incident that became the cause of Kobe being hailed as a hero. The answer is, since explaining it would take too long, I don't think this will be depicted in the main story, but here's a summary of the Rocky Port incident. Hearing that the pirate island holds an important poneglyph, Law hijacked a massive passenger ship called the Rocky Port and infiltrated the island. This ship happened to be carrying the king and important noblemen of a certain country. However, the ship Law wanted to board was actually a smuggling vessel flying the same nation's flag and involved in dealings with Pirate Island, which led to major trouble. Law clashed with the pirates, and soon after, Kobe and Blackbeard separately arrived on the island for their own reasons, leading to the three to join forces. As a result of this incident, Blackbeard became the king of Pirate Island, Law was recognized as one of the 7 warriors of the sea, and Kobe was hailed as a hero. It kind of sucks that this is off screen and we won't actually see this, because being the title of like the hero, getting the title of a warlord, and Blackbeard becoming the king of Pirate Island, that means the Rocky Port incident had some like really strong pirates like on that smuggling vessel for these three to team up and like get those titles. And at the same time, we know like why Law was there, but like why the fluff was Blackbeard and Kobe heading there as well? That's something I want to know. The last question, and this is one on the level of Sabo. This question was terrible, but question number 10. During the God Valley incident, Saint Garlic went and confronted the pirates, but how strong is his combat abilities? And Oda's answer is he's strong. There's a reason for his strength. Yeah, was the supreme commander of the Holy Knights, and now he's a member of the Gorosei. Of freaking course he's going to be strong. What type of question was this? As I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about SBS 110. Not going to do every single one of them because some of the statements are a little bit BS from Oda. But the first one that I want to talk about, the reader says, Oda Sensei, about Yamato who ate a devil fruit because of hunger. What did the child Yamato's beast form and human beast form look like? And it looked like this. I'm not going to lie, she's really cute. We see the clouds in the background. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, this means that Yamato is not awakened, and you know, because she shouldn't be awakened as a child. But if you look at what Kaido's statement was about awakenings, it's when the mind and devil fruit, I believe, like become one, or like they have mastery over it. So that just could also mean that Yamato just had like that form of mastery over her devil fruit at such a young age. Okay, this one caused a lot of discourse, and I'm gonna pump my collar because I was team Kizaru the whole way. But in chapter 1103, Luffy was so hungry and cannot move. But in chapter 1106, he became full. Who was it that gave Luffy food? In chapter 1103, Luffy started to wolf down food. When Luffy said food, who was present near him? Kizaru and Sentomaru were also there. Whoever did it never got exposed. It seems that actions seem to be done in the speed of light that even the naked eye can't see. Even I don't know who did it. The speed of light. Some people are coping. They're going to say Sanji moves at the speed of light, which is fair, but that just means that Kizaru was the one to do it. We know how trouble he was about killing Vegapunk, and how he doesn't necessarily see Luffy in like this evil pirate light, because if Kizaru wanted to and was really serious back at Sabaody, he could have killed Luffy, but he didn't. And so the fact that Kizaru did this, a lot of people, including myself, believed it was him. Oda just confirmed this, and so this means that Kizaru wasn't out for blood, wasn't out to kill Luffy, and I think that this proves that Kizaru's stock should go up. I'm on that Admiral. I'm an Admiral fan. I think we overhate them, and I'm going to push that agenda. I'm not going to read this one. You guys can pause the video and read it if you want to, but it just goes in more detail about different sword members, about their height, about their age, and the fact that Gruss, I think it's Gruss, he's actually not a prince, but he just has that title because he's rich. That's pretty funny, and honestly, like the way that he talks, I know it's Rengoku's voice actor, but like how he talks, how he carries himself, you can kind of tell that he's a rich boy. So, you know, I like that he has that title. We finally got to see Jinbei after 20 and 40 years in a good and bad timeline. In the good one, you know, he's still like a peaceful guy. You know, he says that's enough, don't go after him, we're all equals. At age 80, you've grown so much. But in the bad timeline, he's kind of like Arlong about, you know, hating humans, wants to kill them, dragging people to the sea floor. Okay, so for this one, not gonna be too long on this one. Essentially, they ask whenever Luffy turns to a giant, why does he still have his clothes on? And Oda says simply because if he didn't, then Luffy's dick would just be out, which, okay, that's an interesting question. So for this one, apparently the Gora say that the reason why they're so drippy is because they have designer clothes, and it's by this individual who, you know, resides in the East Blue, and you know, he's the only person that the Gora say are about to wear his clothes. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. I wonder if that means that now that Saturn, since he's gone, if Garling, like that means he upgraded his wardrobe and he has a new customer. We got a little bit more about the different admirals that were there at Egghead, just like going in depth, like their abilities, what they could do, if they have devil fruits or not. I don't really care about the vice admirals. I just wanted to mention this. If you guys want to like read it, you can pause it and read it yourself. And this is the final question regarding Admiral Green Bull and Fujitora, a little bit about their past. The reason why this is probably in the SBS is, even though I would love to have seen their backstories and stuff in the story, they're not really as important. We barely got to see Kizaru, and we probably won't see his again. We got to see Aokiji, and we'll probably see Akainu, since he's really important. but these two, they're newer admirals and their backstories aren't as important, so I'm fine with it being in the SBS, especially because just One Piece is so long, there's so much stuff to cover. Not everything's going to be covered in the actual story. And so Ryokugyu hails from the South Blue. He was a police officer from the Taya Kingdom and caused a great incident involving a woman and got thrown into prison. His reputation of possessing extraordinary strength reached the government. He got drafted into the Marines and immediately got a special promotion to Admiral. Fujitora hails from the West Blue. He incurred losses on a gambling house in Twin Snake Island, and the place he was working as a bodyguard was bought by the world government with a large sum of money. Yusha was a former military chief in the Aoi Kingdom that once existed in the Grand Line. The Aoi Kingdom was destroyed because of war, and he became a significant war criminal, and the world government will eventually be made aware of this fact. Pretty cool seeing this, especially with like Oda's question, like his 10 special questions talking about the military draft, and they were addressed like their backstories a little bit in the SBS. Pretty cool that we got to see both of those. So that's gonna do it for this video. Like I said, these were the SBS 110 questions as well as Oda's 10 special questions. Pretty cool stuff that we got to learn. Let me know how you guys feel about this answers to the questions or some of the questions in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.